Good afternoon and welcome back to the Middlesex stream, the afternoon session of this match, the Willis Trophy match between Middlesex and Sussex. Apologies to our viewers, we had a few technical problems there. Wi-Fi dropped and missed a few overs after lunch, but we're back on air. And from a Middlesex perspective, I'm sorry to report that there's another wicket down. It's that of Martin Anderson. He fell for 17 to the young off-spinner Jack Carson as Ollie Robinson's continuing from the pavilion end. And this is turned round the corner by James Simpson for 4 runs. Nice looking shot. It's a little bit too straight from Robinson, and that moves to 88. I'm Isabel Westbury, Adam Collins alongside me.
Good afternoon, Isabel. Yeah, big wicket that of Anderson. We saw the rearguard effort that he mounted alongside John Simpson against Hampshire a couple of weeks ago in sort of similar circumstances, but unfortunately for the Middlesex number 6, he was trapped leg before wicket not long after we returned. He was out for 17 from the bowling of Carson, so the spinner's in the book for a second time. And as we mentioned just before we went off air, not sure if that was the case or not, the follow-on mark is 200 in the Bob Willis Trophy, not 150, which means that despite the fact that Middlesex are 6 down, it's not quite as dire as it might otherwise look in terms of that particular hurdle. They're only 6 away from passing that rather than what otherwise would be 56. And with 6 wickets down, and obviously with rain likely to play a role in this fixture as we get to the 4th day, Tuesday, which could be rained out, if we were playing with 150 runs, that would be certainly front of mind for the visitors, but at least that's not the case for Middlesex.
Yeah, it looks as though Sussex are coming back again, but it'll be interesting to see how their approach to their second innings goes. I mean, I'd imagine they'd go back to it reasonably quickly, bearing in mind it's not, that
well, this is it, isn't it? So
Tuesday.
in an ordinary 4-day game, they'd think, well, look, we're in a really good position. We've just got to get the 4 Middlesex wickets and proceed accordingly. And there wouldn't be a huge amount of urgency to it, given how quickly the game has played out so far, especially in the evening session yesterday where 7 wickets fell and 122 runs were added. But due to the fact that this is likely to be a 3-day game, it'll be more, the urgency will be there. They will know they need to get these last 4 wickets briskly in order to give themselves a chance to bat and plunder as many runs as they can before the close tonight, really, and look at giving themselves an entire day tomorrow to bowl. That would be the best case scenario for Sussex. Of course, they don't want to take the forecasts as for granted, I suppose, but remembering that draws won't mean much in this competition. Everything needs to go right for Sussex and indeed Middlesex to progress to the finals. So I wonder whether we will see some bold captaincy on that front. But first things first, they need to take these 4 wickets, and we have a delay with the ball stuck in the hedge at the Salters Field end, which isn't the first time we've seen a ball get caught up in there. And of course, only the players are permitted to go and fetch it, so it might take some finding.
It sounds as though the ball, I'm just listening to the Sussex captain Ben Brown trying to explain to the umpire that the ball seems to have been trapped in a portion of the bush which they can't actually reach. They can see it.
Well, Lucy from our social media team has raced over them past our commentary tent saying, "I have little hands, maybe I can get it." So I admire her for her.
Squirrel her way through.
Yes, I like her. I like her disposition.
Collective efforts.
Lucy was telling me earlier today she's from South Wales, so she's. I'm sure she's got that disposition to get in there and get her hands dirty and find the ball.
The advertising hoardings up. There's a bunch of players around. Security.
This really is. We're going to talk at the end of this year about the different things we saw on the Bob Willis Trophy that you would never see in a normal county championship season, and having 4 or 5 players involved in trying to retrieve a ball from a bush is right up there.
Yeah, sometimes you see in sort of television shows when somebody's offered the option of travelling to a point back in time, and they're asked, what period would you like to go to? And you've got someone say, I'd love to have gone to the Roman period, or, I don't know, sort of the Renaissance, and seen these artists at play. Honestly, I think nowadays, I'd like to see somebody go back to last year and try and actually explain all these things that are going to happen the following year.
Look at that. One Sussex player, it looks like it's the young spinner Carson, has just exited the bush. He must have climbed underneath the thing. Looking at him here, he's covered in dirt. His knees have got grass all over them, and I don't expect that from the field. We might ask him here. Have you had to climb underneath the bush to retrieve that ball? Can't get his attention here. Jack. Let's try and get Jack on the call here. He's down beneath us here at Long Leg. Jack. No, we're not having any success here. This
I think we're enemy territory, Adam.
Riveting commentary. He's been called around by his skipper, Ben Brown, to go a fraction finer, so we're almost out of earshot, but yes, he was the last man under there.
He's having a little chat. Poor man. He feels he's wearing short sleeves as well, which means that you've got scratched all around.
He's also bowling at the moment. He's in the middle of a spell.
Yeah. Maybe we'll add a bit of extra venom to his deliveries. He's out of earshot now. This is Robinson around the wicket to the left-handed Simpson. Just to inform listeners as well, during that break, of course, we've got Blake Cullen, who's the other man at the crease at the moment, joining John Simpson. Cullen making his first-class debut in this match. Bowled well. Sussex's first innings. Picked up 2 for 51 from his 14 overs. There's Robinson around the wicket into Simpson. And it's a dot ball, end of the over, and Jack Carson, having exited the bush, I think it's going to go on the ball. So 88 for 6 Middlesex. And this, I think, is the difficulty of Middlesex is that with these youngsters in, you've got Thilan Wallaluita, Blake Cullen as well. Less experience down the order with bat in hand. No Toby Roland Jones to put the ball back down the ground. Tom Helm also. James Harris as well, known to have a go with the bat. They're not playing today.
Yeah, Harris batted well last week as well. Hove.
Carson over the wicket. And this is off the mark there by Cullen. Into the covers. He's going to get back for 2. Nice looking stroke. Carson being encouraged by those around him. 2 for 13 off his 5 so far. Flatter delivery. Cullen, big stride forward. Many fielders around the bat. Short square leg. Silly old wicket. Slip as well. Pushing Cullen back into his crease. .90 for 6 Middlesex. Loopier delivery. So yes, Middlesex just 3 away and 4 to get beyond the 200 mark for the follow-on. So Sussex will certainly bat again. It's Carson. Very loopy delivery, full toss in fact, and this is plugged down the ground and a good stop, diving stop by mid-on, gets a hand to it, the shot at the non-striker's end, but ball misses and Cullen was through for a single. Brings his total for 3, 91 for 6. Jason Gillespie on the boundary edge doing his loop of the field, just shouting some encouragement towards his young charge. Left-handed Simpson now on strike. Flatter, Simpson down the track using his feet.
Yeah, trying to get a handle on Cullen in terms of his work with the bat. As far as what he did for England, he was obviously he was opening the bowling in that side, but he was coming in at number 10 in the under-19s, batting here at number 8 today, which does sort of hint at a pretty long tail, given that he's on debut and he's 18 years old. He played quite a lot of under-19 cricket for England. Doesn't look like he batted any higher as I stroll through his scorecards. Any higher than 10? His highest score in those was 7 not out, so not many opportunities either. clearly showing a bit at training, getting this opportunity to on debut. Bat at number 8.
Here comes Robinson. Left alone. Must think somewhat of him to come in before the likes of Mercer and Cummins.
Well, I thought Mercer, especially given that
He's got a test 50.
Mercer's got a test 50, and Miguel Cummins has played quite a bit of international cricket as recently as last year. So just purely in terms of exposure, whether Cummins is much a player is almost a moot point. It's more that he would have been in the nets against high-quality fast bowling over a pretty long period of time, given he's 29 years of age.
Robinson to Cullen.
Maybe this reflects the fact that young cricketers who come through the ranks as bowlers, they just generally are better at the other discipline. That they spend so much time on this pathway, which Cullen clearly has. You talked earlier this morning about the generous tweet that Michael Atherton sent out about him yesterday, that just by extension of being in these squads, that they are working far harder on their batting than perhaps if they came through a generation or two ago when the focus was very much the principal discipline.
Robinson again. And this is edged, and I wonder if that's fallen short.
Yeah, just short of
the third slip.
Thomason's fielding there.
Knocks him backwards. Nice bit of bowling there from Robinson. I think the era of sort of rabbit in the headlight batters is long gone. It's one of those where you think, yes, margins of error. Where can I gain an advantage? And if you're a frontline bowler, but you can also hold a bat, my goodness, you're valuable. As here he comes again, and this one's defended into the pitch.
Yeah, it's unlikely we'll see a tail including players of the batting capacity of Devon Malcolm, Phil Tufnell and Alan Mullally in the same side ever again, for example. Just 3 that jump to mind, or when Glenn McGrath spent some time at number 10, when I'm trying to think who edged him out for number 11. Think about that.
Robinson through, taken above the left shoulder by the keeper.
Yeah, I do recall there was a time when Glenn McGrath was Australia's number 10. Of course, he does have a Test 50.
Also, Glenn McGrath, I mean, I think that's a bit heavy, putting him in the same sort of bracket as the likes of Tufnell and Mullally.
It may have been by the end. Of course, Steve Waugh was his personal batting coach. At the start of his career, McGrath was a 12 or a 13.
All right.
He improved dramatically as time went on, to the point where he made a 50 at Test level. Actually, the same day that Jason Gillespie made his first half century as well against New Zealand in 2004.
Robinson to Cullen. Nicely defended.
And we all know, as far as the Sussex coach is concerned, it wasn't the only time he passed 50 in Test cricket. Did a few times, but most famously his double 100. And I saw on social media last night, Dizzy was having a bit of fun with this. When Ed subtly mentioned that they've joined an illustrious club that includes him from his... so now, Crawley is part of that cohort. A lot of players aren't. Indeed, Zach Crawley's got a Test 250, and as Wisden noted last night, rather cheekily on social media, Sachin Tendulkar didn't make a Test 250.
Simpson on strike. Cullen round the wicket, and this is prodded on to point.
We said before lunch is that with Gubbins, the left-hander, facing Carson, there was no silly point, but you can see his strategy was to get as far forward as he could to blunt the spin. Simpson, though, is more willing to go back as well as forward on the available evidence so far.
It's a short delivery, and this is cut fine. Backward a point, and that was too short, too wide. And Young off spinner. And that races down the hill. And, it's a good chase down on the boundary edge. In fact, he's just about kept that in. I thought that was 4 for all money's worth.